Hello and welcome to your Astrological Vibrations for Friday, June 21st, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I empower my inner mother. And happy solstice. This is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. And either way you look at it, it is a return to light and a remembering of the darkness. Return to darkness and remembering of the light. I think it's really the first. Remembering of the light, but also remembering the shadow, the darkness that also comes. And the fact that we need them in balance in our world. Can you imagine sleep if it was sunny all the time? And can you imagine feeling good if it was dark all the time, you know? So solstice energy reminds us of the importance of balance, even though the balance is happening on a larger scale rather than like the equinox balance of day and night. Anyways, we also have the Herald of Cancer energy. So welcome to Cancer, which means welcome to our second eclipse season of 2019. This is going to be important, these Cancer energies, to really utilize, get, and understand them. I've been pushing it all year with the North Node in Cancer to recognize, understand, and apply these energies, but especially as we build into these eclipses, this is going to be very important. So, I empower my inner mother. That's number one. Cancer brings such a strong energy of nurturing. And I always think of my mom, who is a Cancer, when it comes to these energies, because my whole life, and even way before I was born, and I think even in her childhood, if I think about it, she spent her life basically doting on taking care of everybody else. And when my dad passed, she didn't know how to do that for herself. And so often, that's the way it is, that we will dote on and nurture everybody else and take care of everybody else's needs and not necessarily show up for ours. And that's one of the big things with the North Node in Cancer and this lesson for the next 30 days with the Sun in Cancer. What do you need in your life to feel nurtured? And then how can I give that to myself? What do I need from mother energy? How can I give that to myself? How can I be that mother to myself? That means how can you show up for your feelings? When you have a boo-boo, whether it's a spiritual boo-boo or a physical boo-boo or a mental boo-boo, ongoing. How can you show up? How can you nurture yourself? How can you mother yourself? I feel like we've been taught to have that stiff upper lip and be kind of hard on ourselves. But truly, that's not the way. It's like, how do you show up for yourself? How do you offer yourself whatever it is that you need from that energy? And where can you give it to yourself? We all have the archetype of mother within us. Now, some have it on a larger energy and some have it on a little bit less energy, but we all have it. So how do you utilize that and step up into it? How do you start listening to the feelings that come up? Again, not poo-pooing your feelings and be like, okay, there's some validity in here, whether it's my inner child, whether it's from a wound or trauma, whether it's indicating some level of intuition with something. That's one of the Cancer energies, that strong psychic intuition. It's connected to the moon, and the moon is deeply connected to the psyche. So listening in with that. The other thing that we want to be vigilant about with this energy is Cancer energy can also represent our family and that family legacy, our ancestry, and where those patterns are still playing out. I love a post that I offered up a few weeks ago that says, it's possible that you're carrying energy from 14 generations. Holy cow, 14 generations. Even just knowing, that while we were, you were actually created ultimately within your grandmother as an egg within your mother, because women are created with the eggs within them. So you actually existed on some level, some cellular level within your grandmother, and that can be so impactful. Do you know that family legacy? And is there any place where you may be playing it out, whether it's the shoulds, the good stuff in the family, and maybe some of those family patternings that it's come time to end? This is something to be really aware of. Now, here's a very interesting thing. Neptune is going retrograde today. So Neptune will be retrograde all the way through my birthday, November 27th. It is retrograde from 18 degrees to 15 degrees in Pisces. But Neptune retrograde, especially in the sign of Pisces, can definitely tune us in. So it can take us deep into these internal patterns, these ancestral patterns. It can definitely tune us into past lives. And I do think that we often have past lives within the same family structure. I think we will come back to these families multiple times. Maybe not every time, but I definitely do think that we do that often. Maybe not always, but often. The fact that Neptune's going retrograde with this and with these eclipses, it's like, yeah, we gotta go in. We gotta find those spiritual patterns within, those emotional patterns within that we've been carrying that are not necessarily ours, that may feel a little bit esoteric, that we don't necessarily have the reasons why or what for about, but that are there. And that's something that I've been doing in my life, because I've been like, where did that come from? I don't have any logic about where that came from, but I feel this thing in me so strongly. And so having the faith to dig in and trusting those stories that come through, trusting that there's lessons for me in it, has been really powerful. So that's one of the things. As these things around your ancestral things come up, as these ancestral stories come up, listen to the story. You can treat it like a parable. What's the lesson for you? How are you meant to utilize this energy? How are you meant to nurture yourself through this energy? What do you require for healing? What feelings do you need to process for healing ultimately in and through these energies? Just noticing, where do I keep following through on ancestral patterns? Again, if you only know a little bit about your family, whether it's seeing your mom and dad's patterns or your grandparents' patterns or seeing even sibling patterns, that's enough. Or even seeing the patterns that your children are following in with you, that's enough to see, okay, is this a pattern that deserves to keep going? Or is there some wonk in this pattern? Where does this pattern require healing? All right, so this is really, really, really powerful energy. Thing with Neptune retrograde and Jupiter retrograde are both really interesting to me, because sometimes I feel like we feel like spirit's offline and not with us. It is just this call to go within and do the work on a deeper level. Spirit is within you, you know? God, universe, it is created within you. I love that quote by Rumi. I say it all the time. You are the soul of the universe, and your name is love. Remembering that, especially when you feel alone. I feel like these eclipses that we're moving into could feel a little desolate at times because of the emotional impact, and that you may not feel understood, but you're understood as part of the universe. You are understood by the universe. You are understood, and the universe is grateful for your experiencing, your willingness to experience. So just remember that through these times. You are never alone. Your guides, your angels, and so much more are there with you. And I feel like several of you really need to hear that at this time. You are not alone, and I'm sorry that things are so hard. Keep going. And that's just, it's going to be important for all of us. Oh my God. Somebody needs to look this up. Frog just landed on the window. It just jumped on the window as I said that. Frog medicine is here for you. You are not alone. Frog just jumped on the window and is like, hey, let me in, let me in. I'm in wild America right now here. So, all right, you are not alone. You are so loved. Apply that. That's part of the nurturing that you need. And Frog is also here to be like, you're not alone. I'm here with you. I know Frog is deeply about healing energy. I do know that about Frog, but I'm sure there's much, much more to that. I'm just watching him walk around the screen. Catching bugs. Thank you, Frog. Thank you for catching those mosquitoes that keep eating me. He landed on the window. Oh, Peace Frog. Yes, Peace Frog. See? Okay. Anyways, besides this today, I guess I should tell you the times. This is all happening in the morning. Sun is moving into Cancer at 8:54 a.m. So this does mean that Cancer Sun is going to be at 0 degrees through the day. 0 degrees can feel a little bit wonky, so just be aware of that feeling off. And again, what do you need for nurturing in that feelings? I often need nap upon nap on 0 degrees days. So if you can give that to yourself, please do. Now, I also realize that when I tell you to nurture yourself and take naps, that many of you work and live in the real world. That's not always easy. And it's like, what can you give yourself to keep moving forward as you are in this place? You know, do what you can and be good to yourself through that. Neptune is going retrograde also really early in the day. I think it's like 7:35 a.m. Neptune goes retrograde. Before that, we have the moon in Aquarius making connections to Gemini and Jupiter. Gemini and Jupiter. I didn't mean that. Venus and Gemini, sorry, and Jupiter and Sagittarius. So moon is going to be trine Venus and Gemini. That's nice. It's a really fast-moving aspect. Generally, I would say with moon in Aquarius connecting to Venus and Gemini is like spend some time with people you love and absolutely do that. Like if you can have a solstice ceremony to celebrate the light, to celebrate the dark, to celebrate the balance between them in yourself and outside yourself, wonderful. But by the time you're up and about in your day, you may not necessarily feel like you have the energy for that, and that's okay too. But just realize, I feel like the thing with that is like, oh my God, your guides are so loving on you right now. They're so supporting you. That's one of the things I say with Aquarius. Like, tune into your community that is beyond. We have our physical community, but then there's like our council beyond. Tune into those energies and let them know, like, hey, thanks for supporting me. I'm going to call on you to help me work through some of these family patternings. Moon in Aquarius connecting to Jupiter. Spend some time in gratitude today. Spend some time recognizing the good things. Spend some time saying thank you for the frogs that jump on your window that are like, hey, I'm here. You are not alone. I mean, what was the timing of that? That was so amazing. Yeah, there's so much good here for us, and it's about recognizing that energy. So besides that, then the rest of the day is like peace, be peaceful, nurture yourself, nurture your feelings, show up as the inner parent. I also pulled, because of light, cards from Work Your Light. And I pulled 2 cards. I'm not going to read them both, but they both, I feel like, go together. The first one was Share Your Voice. Come out of your cave. Persecution, expression. And what I feel like this is like, be willing to express your feelings. Do not hide your feelings. There's no need to hide your feelings. And please don't. And this doesn't mean take out your feelings on everybody, but it's like, they have validity. What you're feeling has validity. And it's part of the process right now. The other, upside down. The other card I pulled was the Lemuria card. And Lemuria card is creating heaven on earth. It's happening. It's happening as we do this work. But it's so funny because between this card and this card, I started singing that song, Heaven is a Place on Earth. So, there you go. But here's something to do with this solstice energy and this Lemuria card. Hold this card in your heart. So envision this energy on this card to your heart and say, I hold the codes of Lemuria and believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. All right. So that is it for today. You can always book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. I give you a little kitten therapy. She's here snoozing. Aww. Such a cute little thing. The most cuddly little cuddle bug ever. And also part of the reason why I'm not on camera, because a 4-week-old kitten is like a newborn in so many ways. So that has been a lot of work this week and a lot of other readings and stuff. So take a second. What are you grateful for? Keep tuning into that energy throughout this day. I am grateful for the balance of the light and the dark. And I am grateful for this wisdom, and I'm grateful for my feelings that help point me in the right direction. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You do have the power, and thank you for continuing to show up for me. Namaste.